Hello, everyone, and welcome back to War for the Crown, Songbird, Scion, Saboteur. Last we left off, the party went adventuring through the county. And they went after some rumors about a big old fish being a big old meanie over in Lake Pensaris. They found a little hermit man who said he could talk to the creature or the essence of the lake and to come back later. In the meantime, they went to the Okara Barony, said their hellos, got a little gift, and I believe the last we left off, the door was being closed as you guys were walking outside.
So, how much time remained between us walking out the door and the hermit summoning the fish?
Realistically, you guys were chatting with Okara for maybe all of like 20 minutes.
Okay, so we've still got like, what, half a day?
More or less. You got a couple hours.
Couple hours.
Did we actually get our tea invitation yet? Was that a thing we actually got?
I think
That is not arrived yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making
Well,
sure.
if we've got a couple hours, it takes... How long does it take to walk here again? Like 5 miles? Would that be a hour? Huh.
I can't help you there. That is not information I retained from the last time we played.
Blah. Okay, so right now it's sometime afternoon, correct? It's like 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so realistically speaking, this travel took about like 6. Like leaving at 8 took us about all of 6 hours to travel 22 miles.
Sure.
Okay. So then, going back up here, which is 5 miles, should place us very near to the point where the hermit's about ready to summon the fish, I think. Because 22 into 6 is what? It's like a mile, or I mean an hour for 4 miles.
Sounds right.
Like, that's a very rough estimate, so if anyone corrects me, I'm gonna see that they're correct. But I think if we start heading towards the hermit, it'll be maybe just give or take half an hour before the fish is ready.
That's about right.
Would you guys be up for just heading up towards the hermit now?
Yeah, might as well get that task done.
Okay. So I think that's what we'll do.
And to confirm,
Lazy jaunt up to the hermits. Sorry.
No, I love it. Lazy jaunt. It's so true. To confirm, our goal is to establish with this fish that those who come to seek the bounties of the water mean it no harm, and that, you know, we would like the remains of the last person who bothered it to give the family closure, along with letting the townsfolk and surrounding areas know that visiting the water is okay, but you need to be respectful during your time of visiting. Is that correct? Are we all in agreement that that is what we are acquiring to this giant fish?
That's
Yeah.
assuming
alright.
that it is an intelligent creature and not just an overgrown fish.
Yeah, double homicide is the backup if it's just a massive, dangerous fish.
Out of curiosity, like, not to be paranoid, but if this guy turns out being, bad, the actual fling and is just basically trying to lure us into a trap, should one of us be hiding, or should we all just go and ball or guns blazing essentially?
Frankly, I don't think we're going to be in that much danger. I personally feel pretty powerful next to you all. But
That's a fair
sorry,
statement.
with you all, not next to.
Well, I was about to say I am glad I'm surrounded by very powerful people. There's no sarcasm in there, by the way.
All the same, we'll be on guard. We've run into some very strange and somewhat powerful, normal-looking people. This hermit could be more than he seems, but we'll give him the due regard for being on our guard. But I'm sort of with Erivid on this point. I don't anticipate the hermit being that great of a threat.
I just really
Okay.
hope we don't have to jump in the water because I don't want to do that. I'm not inclined to do that, so if we have to jump into the water, I would prefer not to.
Oh, trust me, I'm with you on this one.
I think all four of us are with you. I don't suspect any of us would like to fight a fish in its best favored terrain.
I was thinking more like if the corpse is at the bottom of the lake, then you would have to basically swim down and try to get it. Yeah.
That would be a problem.
I don't know. Maybe we'll draw straws or something at that point. Anyway, I think we should be heading over now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You guys do some traveling, and you find your way back to a lovely hermit. Who's actually more like, move you guys back here with your other stuff. He's more like right here. And, I should have saved it. And there's this tied up at the edge of the water. A boat.
Lovely.
Oh, good.
That he seems to be preparing.
I put my horse on the other side of the walking path in hopes that he's fully out of grabby distance. Protect the horse.
What's my swim again? Oh, a 5. All right, that's usable.
Yeah, I also have just a 4. It's better than nothing.
I'm
Help where
checking
I
mine.
can.
I don't think it's gonna be good. -3.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. That's okay.
My swim's a 5 as well.
I had a traumatic childhood experience that makes me scared of giant open bodies of water.
Are you serious?
Oh, the whole mentioning of swimming just sort of brought that memory out of nowhere. Anyway, I can guard the horse if you want.
No, just stay behind us.
I'm just going to get closer and like watch what he's doing.
And I would
Out
like
of
to watch
amusement,
the
if
water.
nothing else.
I'm gonna watch the water.
For sure. He doesn't really seem to. Not that he doesn't notice you, but he's putting most of the work into preparing the boat. And I mean, he's getting oars ready. You can see him put like a bucket into the boat. He's simply preparing it in a very manic style.
Can I do a perception check to see like what's inside the bucket if there is anything in the bucket?
Sure.
Okay.
There seems to be some sort of like seed within the bucket.
Okay. Nothing out of
If
the
there's
ordinary.
anyone here that's gonna know what seeds those are, it's our gardener.
I guess since he brought that up, can I do a knowledge and nature check to see like what seeds those are?
I would love to give you a knowledge nature check if I would have an answer for your knowledge nature check.
Okay, so it's nothing out of the ordinary then.
It's seeds from plants.
I convey that quietly too. That's what it's like normal seed, not anything supernatural or exotic. It's just common seed.
I suppose this mystical guardian is an omnivore then.
Well, at least he'll eat the seeds first, not us.
Yes, let's hope that just satisfies it and doesn't merely whet its appetite.
Both of your levels of encouragement are so astounding.
That's I know the perfect way to encourage myself is to run through all the possible scenarios of what might happen to me.
There's a difference between pessimistic and paranoid, Kassadin.
Oh, sorry.
Water seems fairly calm.
My Agua check.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh, there's a horse in this sound effect. I just heard him. It's like, ah! That's awesome. Okay, so nothing out of the ordinary or weird about the water right now. Okay, cool.
Nothing weird about the water other than me almost falling out of my chair.
Those waves, man. They strong.
As you kind of get closer, Erivid, you start walking on into his home or onto his home. Essentially, G does notice you and kind of looks around at everyone, and says, "Oh, you're on a little bit early."
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to be. We didn't want to wait. We decided to come here early. You know, early is better than later.
I don't mind the fresh air.
Well, good. The general does not Say kindly to those who are late. I'm just prepping our boat now to row out to the middle of Lake Pensaris, where we shall meet with him.
There's no way to invite him to come closer to the shore?
Oh no, I've been meeting with him at the middle of the lake every time I commune.
Really weird. The guy must have really deliberately had to go for the general. If general is only located in the middle of the lake, but I doubt it was accident.
Yeah, I thought so too. Did the guy that was taken last deliberately go out in the middle of the lake to bother the general then? If he doesn't come to the shoreline, then, even fishermen wouldn't go so far out to the middle of the lake. It'd be impossible to try to catch anything as they go down further and further.
Oh no, that one was about there-ish, and he kind of just waves his hand in a random direction in the lake.
Ah, so inquisitive. Thank you.
Preferably, I would want to try to figure out a way not to make it such that more of these accidents don't happen. If the general is more defensive and not really aggressive territorial guardian.
Well, like I told you last, if those come to the waters looking to be kind and not harm the general, no harm shall befall them. All who fell to the general rightly deserved it. You ask me.
Sounds like it. There would have been talks of that if the local fishermen back at the nearby town were being attacked, but we didn't hear anything like such. So that supports your story.
Zeke, describe to me what the difference would be in the matter of actions for two fishermen, one seeking to capture the general and one seeking to just feed his family, if they were to both go to the middle of the lake and cast their lines. How would the general know the difference?
Oh, it knows all that goes on in this lake, if you come with bad intentions or not. I come with good intentions. I feed the general, I speak with the general, I let out the general's will, and I am treated in kind.
Oh,
And everyone who has come here with malicious intent to take the general out of these waters ends up in its belly.
Sounds like it could sort of sense the intent of people. Not really hard to specify it or really put reason behind it, but it seems to be able to tell if someone is trying to hunt it.
Yeah.
So I just had this thought, and I don't know why I never thought to do this before in our last session, but I'm thinking about doing it now. Mr. GM, can I roll a knowledge arcana on this guy? Is he the general?
That's funny. I don't know if would knowledge arcana even do that?
The reason I asked
what does knowledge arcana give?
The reason that I asked knowledge arcana is because maybe it's magic based, so maybe he's like a really old druid or some crap.
Let's see, knowledge arcana.
Or maybe knowledge nature, but I'm thinking more along the lines of it's by magical means that he's doing it, not by nature means, which is why I would lean towards arcana. I guess sense motive could do it too, as he's talking about reasonings.
Let's see.
And his personal opinion on it versus others.
Yeah, I think I would simply default to a sense motive.
Okay, the sense motive. Ooh, can I beat a 19? Probably not, but let's try.
You could beat it with a 20, and that doesn't look like it's 20.
Hey, roll twice, take the higher. Hard to fool. 26. Is he the general?
All right. Sense motive. One moment. Let me read sense motive. Okay. You get the feeling with your sense motive that he is at most telling the truth that there is something in the waters. But he is. You also get this sense from your motive that this old coot probably should not be trusted in a word that he says. He is likely spinning you the tallest of tales.
Okay.
Which I think the last session we played, someone else did a sense motive, and this isn't new information. One of the four of you also knew this.
That probably wasn't me. If I had to guess, it was one of the other two, possibly.
It was someone, because I remember a sense motive being done and me saying that he's like, oh, maybe it was probably a worse roll than a 26. It actually might have been you, Anna, who got the same roll, except this time I got to tell you more.
I remember rolling and getting a really low roll, and you're like, oh, well, he believes what he's saying. And that's still the case now. He believes what he's saying. It's just there's a really good chance of what he's saying. It's just the setup of a complete nut job.
You get the idea that he still believes what he's saying, but you don't believe what he's saying. And he's likely just exactly that, a hermit who is telling people tall tales. But what he says about something being the water is true over many sources.
Does it seem like the requirement to go out into the water is legit? Like, because obviously that's like he's basically confirming that people were taken from the center of the water, right?
So far, he told you that is how he communes with the general.
Okay. Okay. So Anastasia will turn to the group and say very softly, but in as clear of a, yeah, confirm this guy's crazy, tone of, it seems like the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this is to go to the center of the lake.
Understood.
Can I look around for another boat?
You could.
Okay. 22.
22. At least in this, because this area is more or less like directly next to the road. There's just this, makeshift dam that is not damming anything. And you come from the road down a little hill to here. You do not see any other boats. You do not see any docks. At least for a while. If you were going to grab a boat or anything, you'd probably have to make your way further down.
Okay.
The only boat in the vicinity seems to be his.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I suppose we just watch how things go with Jeek here. And then if it's required that we head out, well, we're gonna need to get the boat back. Desmond at this point is just gonna watch Jeek finish up his things.
Okay. He kind of just turns around while you all are talking, and he's just putting a few more things into the boat, just random, nonsensical items he probably had on him, just so that they don't get splashed around by water.
Mm-hmm.
A couple minutes go by if you don't do anything, and he will eventually turn around and say, "And the boat's ready." And he begins to go into it, grab the oars.
Erivid will breathe deeply and push himself to his feet.
Is everyone hopping into a little rowboat?
Very begrudgingly, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Oh
Wonderful.
God!
No!
I'm underneath.
No drowning!
Hey,
I immediately fell and the boat rolled over me. Oh shit, I'm at the mast.
You're at the mast.
Yeah, that's where I put you. I mean, you can rearrange yourselves, but the boat ain't big.
No, I've got the annoying captain stance with one leg
Yeah,
up
the
and like
Captain
my
Jack.
arm out.
Yeah, the Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Erivid's like, fish ho!
Erivid, more like that fish a hoe. Okay. It's some time rowing. Well, we'll have this map open. Lake Pensaris is big. Bring us there. I mean, it's a big lake. I think I have a description. Yeah, 12 miles long, almost 2 miles wide. Largest lake in the county. And so he's a halfling, he's a little dude. So he's rowing for a while. So, while you're rowing, despite us being on this map, he does try to keep up conversation, but for an old hermit who has lived in a beaver dam for a while, it's the most awkward of conversation, small talk, because the first thing he says, looking at all of you, he's just like, so, you come here often?
Recently, yes.
Business or pleasure?
I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive.
How about the rest of you?
Very much the same.
I'm personally somewhat of a local. I don't get out here as often as I would like to be able to enjoy the scenery, but it's nice to get out here once in a while.
My apologies. I was staring out into the lake. What were you saying?
Yeah, don't worry about it. This conversation's going nowhere.
Do you have any pets?
No. Lake's nice.
Where'd you learn how to make a dam?
I kind of just took it over. I mean, the beavers weren't really living there anymore.
That makes a lot of sense.
Did you pick this side of the lake because it's where the dam was, or were there other options and you just decided on this side?
Well, the dam looked homely. And so I chose it for the dam. And it turned out to be a good location, because it lets me travel out and talk to the general when I need to.
Location, location.
The real estate agent probably didn't offer very many choices for your credit score, I'm sure.
What's a credit score?
Exactly.
What's a real estate agent?
Exactly. Just a joke.
What's a joke? You,
To that end,
Mr.
Anastasia would
Fancy
giggle.
Man.
Oh.
Very funny.
And for the next couple of minutes, it's just him keeping the most awkward of small talk. He's clearly not good at it. But eventually, you do make it to a spot kind of middle in the lake. You know, you're kind of just floating on the waters. He reaches into his bucket of seed and dashes some across the water and says to all of you, now, when the general comes here, don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And then he doesn't say anything else, and he just puts his eyes onto the water. And you can just see him staring intently at the seed that is floating across the top of the lake. And as you wait, I'll say two of you can give me a perception, if you wish.
Two of our choice. I suppose it would make more sense if the high perception people went.
Oh, sure.
Two of whoever would like to go.
I have a +9.
There's one.
And then I think, Erivid, you're probably the next one.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Perception is an environmental thing, so green die. 19.
1927. Okay. Good old 1927. That's a movie that I have not seen. Okay. You all, not you all, the two of you, Erivid and Kassadin. So the seed is here on this side where Jeek is. And you can very much see something moving in the water. The first thing you can see is perhaps terrifying, as a shadow possibly bigger than your boat goes underneath your boat. You know, like the top-down camera shot from Jaws, where you see the shark underneath the boat. That happens, and the two of you can see it, and it is a large something.
I think to myself, as long as I stay near Jeek, I think I should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just a from Erivid.
I don't really know what else we're gonna do in this situation.
I mean, that's
There's
fair.
one boat.
Yeah, that is very fair.
When it passes under the boat, does the boat move at all? Like, does it register that there was like any amount of pressure or anything?
The boat doesn't rock,
Okay.
other than the normal amount that is happening.
Okay. This fish, be stealthy. All right.
And eventually, you do all see the face of a very large catfish pop its head out of the water and start munching on the seed that Jeek threw into the water. And you can see a better look at the creature, known as the General. It is a very large, as I said, catfish. You can see the whiskers. The reports that you've heard of it have put the catfish, and even from kind of the word of Jeek, have put the catfish anywhere from maybe 6 to 10 feet in length, but now that you're up to actually looking at it, this is a large catfish. The General is roughly 20 feet in length. And it is munching on the seed, and it just kind of like, just there as Jeek looks at it, and he kind of puts his hands together and looks at the General and says, "Oh, mighty General, I bring these four to you in hopes for appeasement. They wish to make peace with you of the lake so that they may pass without problem." And the fish is just there, eating seed. And if you were going to say something, Anna, Jeek would grab you at hearing you getting ready to pipe up and push you forward to be the talker for your group.
Oh, God. The look on her face was just one of just absolute shock of being like flip-flopped places with this guy.
Seeing that to my side, I would hold my arm out to like help stabilize Anna.
Yeah, I would definitely like cling on to that for balance, just for the sudden just shock of movement. And then give.
And I will say it's a bit odd because the halfling moves you with, like, there's some strength to his grip as he grabs your arm and puts you to the front.
Oh. As I'm grabbing onto Erivid, I will lock eyes with him and give his forearm that he probably offered for me a tighter squeeze. And then kind of like look back at our halfling friend and then let go of Erivid before looking back down at the fish, just trying to communicate that this little guy is stronger than she thought. Looking down at the fish, I think Anastasia would say, Sir General, it seems as though some of the local residents have disturbed your place of living, and they mean you no harm. They seek only to take from the nature of the land and be part of the circle of life. If they come fishing in your waters, please know that they seek no ill will towards you and only seek to help provide for their families. So our request for you is to let them pass any time that they voyage through. And while I'm doing this, can I roll a perception check on the water to make sure that there's nothing bigger floating around?
Sure.
That's a good point.
Cool.
There's always a bigger fish.
There's always a... No, I don't care. Apparently. Nope, I'm too hyper-focused on the fish.
Maybe a little distracted.
Trying to have a conversation with the fish, yeah.
Okay. Okay. You're having a conversation
Do you want a diplomacy?
with the fish.
With fish?
Oh, that's funny. Sure.
Okay.
Diplomacy the fish.
Fish diplomacy. 22 for diplomacy with the fish.
22 for
Yours,
diplomacy with the fish. The fish, from but a moment, you guys have seen catfish, right? They have those stupid mouths that kind of just.
Mm-hmm.
He stops eating. Perfect sound effects, I know.
Oh my god, you sound like magic, Kurt. That was great.
It stops eating for a moment, and one of its eyes just kind of looks towards you.
Ugh.
And it just goes back to eating the seed as Jeek kind of looks at you and whispers, "Throw him some more. Put your hand in the bucket. Give him some more."
Oh, all right. And I will grab some fish seed and toss it out to the general, trying to like keep distance from the boat, but not hit him with the seed because I think that's rude. I like try to throw it so he doesn't get closer to the boat.
And as you throw it, you just see Jeek with like the tiniest of like thumbs up, like, "Job, you're doing good."
Oh, great. Yeah, wonderful, thank you.
You turn around and the fish is just the seed.
Oh my god. Okay. I kind of look back at Jeek and kind of give him like a little shrug, like, how do I know if we're on good terms?
Well, he's eating the seed, which is a good sign.
Yes, but he hasn't given me a confirmation of any kind outside of eating the seed, which I feel like just accepting an offering is not an acknowledgement of the request that's given.
Well, the general is not a chatty sort. He is, as I've described, nature itself in this lake. And nature answers through actions, not words. And if you have fed the general and spoken to him, and he has not fled from you, or attempted to swallow you whole, then you are good to go.
I'm gonna take a handful of seed
All right.
and toss it out to the general.
Mm-hmm.
You there, General? Can you bring us the recently departed angler's body? It's the best I got.
Give me a diplomacy.
Just straight to the point. Fish diplomacy.
Fish diplomacy.
Go fish diplomacy!
Do you have a special die for fish diplomacy?
I could use my liquid core.
That sounds pretty cool.
Because it's
Liquidy.
ooh, okay. 24.
24. Okay.
24 for a direct order.
24.
For a fish I don't really even know can understand me. Probably just going off vibes.
Yeah, you're kind of just vibing with the fish. The fish, its other eye, looks at you. And, I know nothing about catfish anatomy, but you can give me a spot hidden Not spot hidden. Is that what it's called in this game? No, it's perception.
Yeah, perception.
Okay.
I thought it was spot hidden in this game too. That's called Cthulhu.
Spot with the liquid core dice. Spot the goopy fluids. Wow, okay. That's also 24.
Okay, as I said, I don't know jack about catfish anatomy, but I do know some fish you can see through. You probably can't see through a catfish, but this one's big enough that you can probably see through its mouth at most. We'll simply just, for simplifying things, we'll say it's still in its mouth and not in its stomach, as it's slurping stuff down, but there's definitely, because it's always this, you definitely see a hand in its mouth.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh my god.
Wanna take us in a little bit?
Who has animal handling?
Not a thing. I
Handle
don't have
animal is
knowledge
a
in
thing.
nature.
I have handle animal.
Oh, right, handle animal.
Anastasia, if you would be so kind, being our subject matter expert.
How am I the subject matter expert?
Or the animal whisperer?
How? I was forced into this position. I'm not sticking my hands in its mouth.
Oh, well,
Fine.
I was thinking more sleight of hand sport.
Just someone hold on to me.
I'll hold on to Erivid.
I will also help.
Alright, you got two
Okay.
people holding on to you.
With a 6-foot wingspan, do you think that my hand would be enough to get there? Or should I be using my rapier as a prying device?
I'll say your hand can reach into the fish's mouth between... It's still eating the seed, so you're gonna have to time it.
Oh,
Which
perfect.
I will ask probably sleight of hand to time and get into its mouth.
Okay.
Will someone be able to assist them with that?
Sleight of
Go on.
hand.
Probably not, considering two of you are just holding on to each other.
I don't want to have...
Could I assist him by watching the movements of the fish's mouth and being able to time when would be the best time for him to grab?
I'm gonna say no, this is on him.
Okay.
Being patient, but, not too patient. My compatriots can't hold forever. Okay, alright. 17.
17, okay.
It's just an arm.
It's just a hand. You grab the hand. I'm just gonna do something real quick. Don't mind me. Okay. You do successfully grab the hand, and you're able to do so. But as you do so, and you wrench your hand free with this goopy, slimy hand, let's see. The general, it doesn't bite down into you. Actually, you know what? No, okay. It doesn't bite down into you. But it definitely makes out like this guttural sound from its throat. that doesn't sound normal for a fish and dives back into the water. And as you're pulled onto the boat, Jeek's like, "What did you do? What did you do?"
We did what we came here for. Pull myself back onto the boat.
No, this is not good. I'll have to speak with him later tonight. Alone.
Fine. Get us on land.
He grabs the rows or the oars and begins rowing and says, "You should have let sleeping anglers lie where they belonged." And begins rowing back just in dead silence. And eventually, you make your way back to the shore where you have been capsized, thrown over. But back on shore.
Probably about halfway to shore, so just really inordinate time. Just, this wasn't my fault.
No one's blaming you, Erivid. Desmond's gonna, like, get closer to Erivid. Seems like it was just a fish. I didn't see any signs of intelligence, did you?
I've seen more intelligent life in the Senate.
Right. I suppose that brings us back to how we're going to handle this. Doesn't seem like an intelligent animal. It's not like we can rely on this catfish to uphold its end of a bargain, and people will still be in danger.
If we come back tomorrow and Jeek is still here, or rather, if Jeek isn't here, I think that's our cue to deal with the fish.
I suppose so. If Jeek is still around, though, it puts us in an awkward spot, I think.
He is unbelievably strong for his size. When he swapped places with me, if it wasn't for Erivid, I probably would have fell straight into the water. He was much stronger than he looks.
Noted. Just in case we need to resort to the double homicide route, as discussed earlier. Come, Kassadin. Can't be staring at the water all night.
Okay. I was afraid of what was going to happen.
Was it just me, or was everybody else imagining a much, much bigger fish?
What size of fish have you seen?
Well, not many, to be perfectly honest. I don't go to any lakes very often, but the grandeur explanations we've gotten, I didn't expect it to be like that. I expected it to be twice the size of our boat.
Anastasia, that fish was the size of a shark.
I guess I appreciate the fairy tale of it all in comparison to reality.
Just to put into real world perspective, the largest great white shark was only 19.5 feet. The general was 20.
Okay, then I take back, I rescind everything I just said as Anastasia, because I was not, yeah, I was under the impression that it was something big, something smaller than that, so I take all of that back.
I even said 20-foot fish!
I'm sorry, I was too hypnotized trying to figure out how I'm gonna communicate with a fish, okay?
Yeah, the largest, I just looked it up because I was curious myself. I was like, what type of fish has she seen? The largest white shark was measured at 19.5 feet. That was in 1987, though, and I'm sure there's been more. The general, 20 feet. So bigger than a white shark. Bigger than the biggest white shark, at least back in 1987.
This fish will stretch across a neighborhood street easily.
Oh, out of curiosity, it's as big as a small orca, supposedly. Yeah, orca's 20 to 26 feet. Terrifying.
All right. Well, it's late. Did we want to start walking back?
I
Yeah.
don't know what much else we could do today.
Yeah, I think the gameplay math-wise, it was we would suffer exhaustion by the time that we got back to our estate, but we would spend an entire day at the estate anyway, waiting for the crab's invitation because it comes not the morning, basically the morning when we land back, but the following day. So I think that was the idea, was just to push through back to the estate and then rest the entire next day to get rid of the exhaustion. Am I right in remembering that, guys?
Sounds familiar? But then again, how are we supposed to check if Zeke is okay? Because technically all we did was just retrieve the arm, but that was it?
Yeah.
We didn't actually... If that's
I was
enough...
thinking we were gonna check in the morning, frankly.
Well, we've got a place
Yeah,
to
because...
stay.
Alright.
Wait, so we were able to get the arm though, right? Or did it just go and then dive underwater?
No, we have this.
And as Erivid says, we have this. You see a hand, probably missing a couple digits, covered in slime, and severed about, we'll say, like halfway between hand itself and elbow.
Okay.
The stump itself has been covered in fabric, so I can hold it.
Perhaps we can look for like a discarded burlap sack to wrap that, so you don't need to carry it. Just like, I'm sure the entire thing is slimy. I think as we're walking back, Desmond would keep an eye out for any discarded covering, leather, cloth, just something so that Erivid doesn't have to deal with a slimy arm the entire way back. But I think it's time to head home.
Sure, you could probably find like a bundle of leaves you could put it on.
Like a really big leaf. Okay, yeah, I would, if I could find a bundle of leaves that would adequately cover it, kind of mitigate the sliminess of it all, I'll offer that to Erivid.
Okay, it works.
So, were you all toughing it out back to the Bettany estate, or are you staying at Okara? Okara did offer, there's an open invite for you to rest in some of his rooms.
If our goal is to return back to the lake in the morning and take care of the general, I do think staying with Okara would be the best idea.
Yeah, I would agree. It kind of makes me wonder, though, if there's some way we could check and see if the general actually understood what we were saying. Maybe use one of us as bait, but come up with countermeasures to mitigate the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting later now, but if we were to take maybe we should just take the boat in the morning. That way we're not hitting ourselves with speed and sight if we decide to go back with a boat.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion we're just gonna check this all out tomorrow morning.
Okay. I'm for that plan then. Would it be reasonable to say I could find a boat near the Okara Barony?
I mean, it's possible. They are, they are a fishing town. They fish on the lake, so you could probably, you could likely, rent a boat.
Okay. Yeah, I'll drop a silver piece as a deposit, unless the rate is more. I don't suspect it would be. It's a tenth of a year's food. But that transport is arranged for tomorrow.
Cool. One moment.
This could go very poorly.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it could.
Okay.
Unless we can bait the jerk to the shoreline.
Damn, dude, I was reading something about the price of boats, but now I can't find it. Whatever. Silver is more than enough.
Do any of us have raft of any type? Because if we can find materials on the Okara Barony area, maybe we can fashion some sort of anti-catfish. Okay, this makes sense. Could we ask the local fishermen if there's anything that catfish explicitly do not like?
That's a good point.
Sure, you go up to a fisherman and you ask, and he says, in terms of what?
In terms of things that it can fit inside its mouth, is there anything that it does not like?
Catfish will eat about just anything if it gets its hand on it. Or if it gets its mouth on it.
Well,
Anyway,
then
including hands if you go noodling.
right. That leads me to my next question, which Desmond is going to direct to Kassadin. Do you know of any plants that can induce numbing or stinging if touched?
Let me do a check on that.
God, let me do my own check. It's called Google.
or like anything that could otherwise incapacitate a fish. Also, that's a really good check.
You know that there are plants out there which can be used to make poisons. You don't know if there are any in the area, but you know that plants exist that can be, extracted to turn into poison.
I guess my guy starts listing off some plants that he does know does induce, like, I guess, I don't know, upset stomachs or stuff, or it's from, like, least lethal to, like, lethal. He's just, like, doing out, like, plants. I'm not sure if, like, the fishermen or anyone would, like, starting to mention.
Well, that's all useful information, but I think the important factor here is the immediate effects upon contact. If the general ingests poison and it takes 5 hours to take effect, that's going to do very little to ensure our safety.
How did you? Well, I doubt it. Poppies grow around like Pinsaurus by any chance? I'm wondering if he might have accidentally fed him like poppy seeds or something.
What? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because I'm not sure if Dink is like that knowledgeable of plants, and he may have just grabbed like seeds around the lake. But we don't know if like any of the seeds he might have grabbed might have been like poisonous.
All right. Okay. I'll give you another knowledge nature, but I'm also, because I remembered what it is, I'm also just gonna give some real world knowledge. Outside of game knowledge, real world to game might not mean anything, but I'll allow another knowledge nature, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say because it's funny. Okay. 26. I'll say sure. Somewhere within Merritt, the county, grows poppy. Now to the real world, if you feed the fish poppy, you'd be fighting an opium fish. You'd be fighting a fish on opioids.
Okay, well, I mean, if it's on opioids and just going ma even slower, we could throw a net on it and just catch it.
Is that
it would have to be a significant amount, because first it would be a painkiller.
You'd be fighting a buffed up, feel no pain catfish.
That's kind of the sense I was getting. It's not like it's less of
Like a
a
tranquilizing
sleep
effect.
drug. Yeah, it's less trank and more steroid.
More like
I mean,
And
it would
even
be
in-
after
Or
a
like
while.
Yeah, even in fantasy world, which unless Pathfinder has poppy poison, milk of the poppy exists in Game of Thrones, which is also a painkiller or anesthetic. So it's kind of similar. You'd just be fighting an opioid fish, which I guess I can also give that with your 26 knowledge nature. You would know that it would be mostly a painkiller, poppy. And if you fed it to the fish, you'd be fighting a fish who would feel no pain. You can do that, but your knowledge of how plants work and how these various things work, Kassadin tells you, you probably don't want to feed a fish that you might intend on fighting something that would help it feel no pain.
All right.
I guess as he's finishing blabbering off like all the different plans, he's like, huh. Actually, it may be to a detriment.
All right, but is
And
there
then
anything that induces numbing? Anything that induces paralysis? Blindness, even?
I think just poking it in the eyes might induce blindness.
Sir Gardener! I could have told you that solution!
I told you what I do.
We're trying to find countermeasures, something to arm ourselves with. Perhaps grind into a powder and apply to our clothes, such that if the dust contacts the fish's mouth, it will spit us out instead of turning us into that.
Out of curiosity, like I'm curious about that whole sense motive thing that the fish has. If it could somehow sense all the dust that's on us, wouldn't that make it immediately hostile towards us?
Kassadin, how much of this hermit's bullshit did you listen to?
I imagine this conversation is still happening in front of the fisherman, so he just closes his door and is like, I'll lead you guys to it.
Oh, we've been walking for a while now. I already put the deposit on the boat back in Dolcaro Barony.
Then you hear a shout, I'll leave you guys to it! Slam door.
Oh, the thing is, there's two situations. One, he has eaten someone, and two, he didn't eat us during our little eat and greet session. So, clearly, there is something that caused that fish to attack those people. Whether it's just a simple hook, or if it was literally just because we were around G. If we go out there by ourselves, there may be a chance we're attacked.
Kassadin,
I don't know if it sensed something.
Kassadin, this is a fish.
That 20-foot
Jeek was
fish.
throwing seeds at it, so it was eating the seeds. If someone goes fishing and it casts a worm or a sardine into the water as bait, that fisherman is going to get pulled into the lake and eaten.
Again, I don't really know. I guess
How do
we're gonna
fishes
go.
react to sound?
That's a good question.
No need to pay for sound.
Do you have an idea of how to form some sort of deterrent, Erivid? Sounds like you do.
I mean, we might need to pay for certain materials, but I have this fine buckler of myself. Could make quite a racket. Disorient the fish, perhaps.
Looking at Erivid's shield, Desmond kind of comes to the realization. Do you all think that Baron O'Kara would have any tin or aluminum?
There's one way to find out.
These are basic metals.
I know.
It
Yeah,
is funny though.
We can see if
Oh, thank you.
that's a possibility.
All right. We'll get back to the O'Kara estate and we'll reevaluate our options there.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, this is why I love TTRPGs, because where else are you going to have a party think to themselves, hey, let's drug a fish?
That wasn't even my intent. I just wanted it to be like, ew, this is like cayenne pepper, and then spit us out.
No, I picked up on that, but
Well, part of it was also, hey, let's drug a fish.
Yeah.
So we have one half is like, let's get cayenne pepper and let's just season ourselves. And the other half is, let's drug this fish.
That's the intent I was getting at. I thought you were trying to find something to incapacitate it.
I guess.
Yeah, but like, I think my intent is pretty clear. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything.
Sugarcoat it with drugs. The fish, that is.
Oh man, if only I was a more technical. If only I was like an alchemist. Because now I'm thinking of a really dumb idea where like you get some cloth and you put some like gunpowder or whatever else in it, and then we're gonna launch all those in there into the general and like explode the gunpowder, and now there's a bunch of gas in there and it can't swim down.
Oh, so you're fighting a balloon fish?
So it stays on the surface.
Okay. You guys make your way. Oh.
Okay. Hearing that,
What?
hearing that, I will say out of character, one of Anastasia's level is an alchemist.
Oh, this is great. Okay.
Well, shit.
You guys get to like the front lawn of O'Kara's estate, and he's already opening the door. And he says, I hope whatever you were planning to do went well. I saw you walking up. You all look a bit harrowed. Was it bad conversation?
Not necessarily bad, just merely inconclusive. And we'd like to take some precaution before our next interaction.
Well, why don't you all come on in? The tea is ready if you need a drink as well. We have something stronger. Your rooms are set for you.
Ah, yes, thank you. Out of curiosity, Baron O'Kara, would you happen to know where we can find aluminum or tin?
What do you need it for?
To wrap around ourselves to a certain extent.
Wrap around yourselves.
Almost
Do
like
I
armor.
want to know?
Well, I mean, you know,
This doesn't have anything to do with any destruction on my land, does it? This is
No, certainly not. If you've ever had the curiosity to see what it's like to chew on aluminum, then you can understand my need for safety in case a 20-foot long catfish swallows me.
Ah, the general.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we really have any tin. We work in steel, if you need any steel armor. Or iron. I'm not sure of anyone who works in tin.
Well, perhaps that's the next best thing. Perhaps we can get some of the scrap pieces of iron, if any are readily available, and just cover our clothing with that. Should make us a bit less digestible if we're very pokey.
I don't mind being as digestible as I currently am.
Likewise.
I would also advise against just strapping both fully refined iron or raw iron to your body, especially if you plan on a trip into the lake. If you're really trying to do anything with the general, I don't think that's a good way to stay afloat.
Well,
I agree.
I mean, certainly. My
He's
worry
having this
is...
conversation while letting you guys in and kind of leading you to his sitting room while also just handing you tea. But he also, during this conversation, he definitely takes out like a bottle of whiskey.
Yes, my worry is that if any of us actually get caught, then we would need a way out.
Well, the rumors go that the general has been in this lake for a while. You've already known about the missing angler. That isn't the only one. There's an older rumor that there used to be a ship that would occasionally make the lake, a barge. One of the other nobles would go on the lake with, I guess you could say, in certain terms, a pleasure barge, if you will. And the rumor goes that the general sunk it. And if it could sink a barge, I don't think it's going to have problems. And I'm not venture onto the lake. I stick to my own lands, despite being a man who has fought these beautiful creatures. As he kind of looks at the griffin again. I don't fight beasts of water. And if it could down a barge, I do not have any issue swallowing you covered in iron, my good friend.
You make a good point.
So, as a man of the hunt, as you are, you don't own any harpoons or a harpoon gun?
I have some tools that could be used if I ever decide to go fishing, but I tend not to, as I said, go after beasts of the sea or the lake, if you will. I've General B. But if you manage to, it would certainly be a spectacle to the towns. And I'd wish you my best. I quite like my 2 feet on dry land. and that is where my hunts take me.
Well, as it seems, while your hunts keep you on the land, which, if or when we get access to the Voidwood, do look out for that invite. This particular scenario seems to have taken us to the water, as it is around the confines of your jurisdiction and would make a very beautiful trophy to go along the wall with the assistance of your equipment. Would you be willing to spare some of the equipment at the possibility of a loss, depending on how our venture fares? But if we do come back victorious, you've got that to your name, and you've got a nice new mount for your wall.
Give me diplomacy.
Okay. Dang it! This is 17.
17.
That's a 4 for me. That stinks.
Look at you getting bad rolls that are still good and complaining about it for some reason. He takes a sip of his own tea, which you also noticed, Anna. He has also put some whiskey into.
That's fair. We think the same.
And he says, I can provide you some nets. I might have a harpoon or two. It's not much, but there are things that I'm willing to lose in case that... I'm not saying you will, but on the off chance that things go wrong, which, when you are hunting big beasts, things tend to go wrong on occasion, I am willing to lose.
Items that you're willing to part with for the possibility of being victorious.
Yes. I'm willing to give you these items in your attempt to hunt or catch the general. If you are victorious, wonderful, that is a wondrous day. And if you do not mind my more militaristic way of thinking, I am not going to be affected should I lose these items in this quote-unquote battle.
I would never expect you to give up things that you weren't willing to lose. That is just poor strategy. And I respect your strategy. Whatever you are willing to part with, whether it comes back as victorious or does not return at all, we would be most grateful for.
Well then, I will wish you all good luck whenever you decide to hit the lake.
I am going to need another before I even consider going to bed, because this is absolutely bonkers.
You cut out a bit. Yes, say everything you just said again.
Well, I'm going to need another cup of tea with a splash of that whiskey to even continue to accept the fact that we are going to do this tomorrow, and hopefully that'll help me get a good night's sleep.
He will oblige and pour some whiskey into your tea.
Wonderful. This is a like-minded fellow, guys. I like this guy.
Now, do any of you have any other wishes or questions? Simple conversation, even. How is your estate? How is it treating you all?
Oh, it's a very active estate. Wonderful land, and just fine accommodations.
That is wonderful to hear. The lands have been barren for quite some time, so it is good to know that things are active once more with your watch over it.
Good.
I will let you all know if you haven't learned already. Collection of taxes is at the end of every week. So be prepared to waylay over some urns from your land. We may all be barons and owners of our own land here, but we still do answer to... Oh god, what's his name? Bartleby, we still do answer to the Loathheeds.
Mm.
I would recommend being as kind as possible when you come across Sir Gul'Gazan. He's the one who oversees the tax collection. He's not one you would really want to clash swords with.
Indeed. I believe I recall you telling us that he may be the head of the secret police.
Yes.
Right.
And he's also the man who will be collecting your land's taxes.
Good to know.
If there's nothing else, your rooms are ready, as I said. You'll find them upstairs.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your hospitality and the tea and the whiskey. Fine choice, great mixture.
Of course. So, what do you all do?
Bedtime!
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the back.
I think I'm gonna go to bed, read another chapter of Admiral Arguments on the Orcish Lexicon, and then call it a night.
Erivid? How about you?
I don't think I can. Yeah, I've got nothing.
You've got nothing. Alright, so you're going to bed too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You all make your way to your rooms. There are 2 rooms that have been prepared. Each of them have 2 beds, which have nicely folded, linen, pillows. There's a window, candles. Nice looking guest rooms. And each of them have 2 beds, so 1, 1, 1, 1.
Right. 2 queen rooms.
Mm-hmm. So whoever wants to
Anastasia?
bunk down together.
Do you have any preferences as to who you would share a room with?
Were you about to say sleep?
No, my out of character. My tongue got caught on my teeth. It was like blah, blah, blah. But no, Desmond was just saying, does she have any preferences who she is going to sleep in the same room with?
Which bed looks the comfiest, Pie? Which bed has the most pillows?
Give me a sharp perception.
Sure. Sure. A roll for pillows. Pillows! 21. Which one has the best pillows?
The room on the left side of the hallway, there is a bed that has seemingly, most of the beds just have, because they're small beds, for a single person. So they have a pillow. One bed seems to have accidentally gotten 2 pillows on the left side of the hallway.
Awesome. She just kind of gestures to that room and says, I'll sleep in here. We've all camped out together. I don't really have a preference, and she will wander inside and toss her jacket on the bed with 2 pillows.
Very well. Desmond's just gonna toss his jacket on the opposite chair.
Okay. And this, I'm guessing this was 2 rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, well, that just leaves Erivid and I with the other room. So I'm just gonna grab one of the beds in the other room.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are able to go to bed, and nothing happens.
Hooray!
You guys get a good night's rest, and you don't die.
I get my 2 hit points back.
Do you also get your panache back?
I didn't use any.
Oh, cool. So it's there. Yes. Cool.
Correct. My panache, my charmed life, which I really need to recognize is a before roll, not an after roll thing. I'm just so used to the indomitable trait for fighters in 5e.
Yeah.
Okay. You all wake up. Well rested in each of your individual rooms. And both of your rooms, you do hear knocks on your doors, both of you. Both rooms.
Just for flavor purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, because that would have been met already, so ignore me.
No flavor, has no taste.
Adding a little bit of spice later.
Okay, you all wake up, and you hear knocks on your doors.
I'll get on my bed a bit groggy. I'll just I'll answer the door, or I'll open the door.
You see a male servant, butler, who's holding a kind of large cup of tea, or a large plate with some tea on it, and says, the Baron has instructed us to welcome you with a good morning with some tea, if you would like, and holds out the plate to you, Kassadin.
Okay, I asked Erivid, hey, they have tea. You want one?
I'd love some tea. Thank you very much.
I'll go ahead and grab the. I guess I'm not sure if he's gesturing me to grab the plate or just grabbing the cup.
He is offering you the plate. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead and grab the plate and bring it inside. Place it on a surface, and I'll hand Erivid his, and I'll grab mine.
Right. The servant closes the door. And similar thing, you hear one knock, and if it's not answered, there's another knock on the other door for Desmond and Anna.
The door's open.
Another male servant comes in and says the same thing. The Baron has bid us to welcome you good morning with some tea, if you would like.
That's quite kind. You can leave the tea over there on the table. We're just getting ready.
Walks in, places down the plate, kind of bows to you all. The two of you leaves, closes the door.
If I sniff the tea, is there whiskey in it or no?
No. It is morning, freshly made tea.
Okay, just as curious. Yep, she will.
There's actually poppy in it.
There's actually poppy in it. You guys gonna be ready for the fight. She would, with a very practiced hand, pour 2 cups of tea, and then make sure to take a drink.
Are you sniffing that tea for whiskey, Anna?
Baron O'Hara seems to like his whiskey. I don't fault the man for it. I don't know if he starts with a strong morning or not. Never hurts to check.
All right. Thank you.
There is none, by the way.
I did not suspect so. And then we'll just wait in the lobby, I suppose, for everyone to gather and set off.
Yeah. The two of you leave your room, go down to like the little waiting room. It's literally like it's a living room. There's a couch, there's a nice chair, there's a fireplace, there's a little coffee table. And it seems that the two of you are the first to make it downstairs. As we teleport back upstairs into the other room.
I've taken my time with my tea.
I think I just about finished my tea and I'm trying to put on my equipment. Then I suppose I tell Erivid, I'll see you downstairs then. As I head out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And Kassadin leaves the room and begins walking downstairs, where you are met with Desmond and Anna waiting in the living room.
Are you ready for more fish stories?
Fish stories. Erivid makes his way down eventually as well.
And then there were 4 people in a living room deciding how they're going to kill a fish.
What supplies were left with us from O'Hara? Did we get a harpoon? How many? And then how many nets did we get?
Good question, because as you're waiting, another servant comes out with a little bundle and places it on the table and says, the Baron wished me to deliver this to you all. He had some early morning business he had to attend to. And I was told that this would be required for your upcoming quest. And he places on this table a bundle. It's not much. There's 2 nets and 2 harpoons. And I looked it up. If you're not proficient in harpoon, because they are exotic weapons, they are used like a spear. If you're not proficient with a harpoon, treat it like a spear.
Okay, got it.
Very well. Shall we set out? The dock should have our boat ready.
Wonderful. Then I guess nothing left but to go.
Indeed. Perhaps we can get some fabric to cover these weapons in case Jeek gets curious.
If Jeek is out on the lake with us at the same time, I don't really care what Jeek has to say.
Desmond kind of smirks. All right, we're good to go.
Okay. You make your way down to the lake edge where you find that same fisherman with a little boat waiting for you and says, I have set it up how it's needed for a day's of fishing. You got your oars. There's some rods in there if you need them. All yours for the day. And at the end of a little dock, there is, kind of a bigger than Jeek's rowboat, which does look like it can comfortably, maybe not comfortably, but well enough sit all of you.
Okay.
Great. Should we have our Erivid and Anastasia? You're both melee fighters primarily, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. I was figuring
I have
Kassadin
a decent
should.
throwing arm, though.
Oh, then perhaps Kassadin, Anastasia would be our rowers, and the ranged capable fighters would keep a lookout.
Is throwing based off of strength in Pathfinder?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what would be considered.
No, there should be.
Or is it
There should
dex?
be a thing on combat. Throwing. Where's the throwing?
Throwing.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
throwing is kind of special.
You guys are gonna throw this fight.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna tilt.
As soon as we set off, Desmond's gonna go ahead and give himself burn so that he can activate his Shroud of Water,
Ooh.
as is his basically daily ritual.
Okay.
Uses dex to hit, but strength to damage when it comes to throwing weapons.
Yep. Which, for something like a net, wouldn't particularly matter.
All right. So what's the order of the boat? Picture it similar to Jeek's, except a bit bigger. Two spots front.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to be rowing, of course.
I'm gonna be one of the rowers.
I will also be one of the rowers, but I want to be closest to whoever's going to be throwing the net to be able, as soon as it hits the general, to be able to start pulling the general in. So I want to be able to assist with that.
That would probably be Erivid, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah. My book. What am I doing?
Not the book. He fell into the water. It's ruined.
No, Bookie!
It sounds like you're being volunteered to throw a net.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Or being adjacent to the person throwing a net. Something is net.
I think Anastasia wanted to be positioned behind the net thrower.
Okay.
Net game. Also, Desmond's gonna whisper into his coat, and out is gonna manifest his snake familiar Morpheus, and he's going to whisper, which I mean is just loud enough for everyone else to hear if they wanted to chime in on it. In my darkest nightmares, I swam the darkest depths of the ocean and could not reach the surface. I'm going to apply a +8 racial bonus to swim.
Sounds like one of my.
Thank you. Yeah, it's different for each of the Belfry siblings.
I really thought you were going to start with, like, darkest night.
Blackest, yeah, and
yeah,
blackest
and brightest
night.
day.
And blackest night, yeah. I figured a swim check might be made at some point, and I want to be ready.
So I'm just going to use the County of Merit here on this map. Feel free to look up where it says County of Merit in the upper left corner. So, one person in boat, both rowers. Person here, person at front.
I suppose so.
Is that
yeah, I guess I would be the person in front, and Anastasia would be on the left with Erivid right in front of her.
yeah, rower. So Anna, Kassadin, Erivid, Desmond.
Yep.
Okay. So, as you set off and begin the rowing, and get ready to face down the general of Lake Pinsaris, that is where we're going to end. Because I have some maps that I want to set up that I think you guys are going to be blown away with. And
All right,
I don't
cool.
want to panic set up maps mid-game.
No,
But let me tell you.
Not.
These maps are good. I've already shared one with one player. You know who you are. And they're going to be fun. And you're going to fight an opioid fish in session 24.
Oh
War for the
gosh,
Crown.
they were poppy seeds.
Why did the GM give the fish opium?
Opium fish, big villain of the campaign. You thought it was something worse?
Big
Nope.
reveal.
It's
But it was
opioid
me.
fish.
Come, feed my fish! Drugs!
Help me drug this fish.
He was just having us give his fish vitamins.
You were actually buffing the fish. I tricked you into buffing the fish.
We've been had.
Yup. And that's where we'll end. With you guys
gosh.
being had.
I hope I don't get. I hope I don't drown or get eaten by an opioid fish.
Don't put that out into the universe and you won't.
A fun way to end a story, end a character for sure. Is I got ate by an
Remember-
opioid fish.
Remember when I almost killed your first character? Well, I'm gonna finish off the second one.
Oh my
I
god.
think my characters are susceptible to giant creatures.
That could be a thing.
So true. Alright, but for now, everybody say goodbye to YouTube!
Bye,
Goodbye,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Bye YouTube! Happy dungeon delving everyone! And pie?
Goodbye and stay sweet.
Mm.